When Qatar won the right to host the World Cup in 2010, it embarked on a remarkable building spree. 12 years later, the country has 7 new stadiums, a new airport, metro system, roads and hotels costing around £200 billion. But some migrant workers who built the infrastructure that meant Qatar could deliver its World Cup dream have paid a very different price. 2,000 miles away in Nepal, Ladawati Mandal lives with 5 of her 8 children. Her husband went to Qatar in 2018 and never came home. Gangaram Mandal died in his sleep after a work shift in the searing summer heat in July 2020. His family have been left with no explanation for his death and no compensation from his employer. I asked Ladawati's children if they wanted to talk about their dad, and her daughter, baby Kumari, spoke up. It was too much for Ladawati. She suddenly fainted and her family rushed to help. She recovered quickly and we left her to rest. Hundreds of families across Nepal have a similar story to tell. Nirmala Pakrin's husband, Rupchandra Rumba, died while he was employed on one of the new World Cup stadiums in 2019. After his body was sent home, Nirmala left the capital, Kathmandu, to live with her parents in the countryside, who helped to raise her 10-year-old son, Niraj. She remembers every detail of the day she got an unexpected call from Qatar. Rupchandra's roommates had found him in bed, gasping for breath. Rupchandra died soon after. Nirmala says she still has no idea what caused his death.
कारण त त्यस्तो केही थिएन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई त मान्छे त सधैँ थियो बोलिरा थियो अब बिरामी यताउति केही पनि थिएन.
Rupchandra's death certificate states he died of natural causes, a vague term used to describe thousands of migrant deaths in Qatar. The country's labour law only requires companies to pay compensation when a worker's death is caused directly by the work. But because these deaths are rarely investigated, companies can dodge accountability. After months of negotiation, Rupchandra's employer offered Nirmala the equivalent of about £1,600, but she refused it, saying her husband's life was worth more than that.
कति लखौला कमाउँछ होला उनीहरु त्यत्रो कमाउँदाखेरि हामीले अलिकति क्षतिपूर्ति नदिएपछि त मेरो लागि त त्यो चाहिँ केही जस्तो नि लाग्दैन अब.
The vast majority of Nepal's migrant workers come from across the southern plains of the country. Here, wives with absent husbands lean on each other for support.
घरपछि एउटा दुईटा त गएको छ विदेश. यहाँ रोजगारी छैन त विदेश जान्छन्. अब रोजगारी यहाँ दिएपछि अब कसै कति 400 500 रोजगारीमा पुग्दैन.
For many, the deal works out. Money is sent home, houses are built, marriage dowries paid, children sent to better schools. But some come home buried in debt. Ram was worried that if we showed his face, he wouldn't get work abroad again. Like almost all low-wage workers in Qatar, he was forced to pay an extortionate and illegal fee to a local recruitment agent to secure his job. It's a risk that would only pay off if he could stay in the country long enough to repay the debt.
अनि हामी त त्यही सोच बनाएको थियो अब त्यति लगानी लगाएर गयो भने कम्तीमा 2 साल 3 साल बस्यो भने त ऋण तिर्नु पाउँछ पाल्नु पाउँछ छोराछोरीलाई पढाउनु सक्छ होला त्यही सोचेर गएको पर डुबेछ अब के भन्नु
Many construction companies were ordered to wrap up their projects before the World Cup kicked off. And as a result, thousands of workers have been sent home early against their will.
लेबरहरुको त केही फाइदै देखेन अब घर पठाइदिएछ लेबरहरु त के फाइदा होला लेबरहरु कसैको त्यो उताको सरकारलाई फाइदा छ कि कम्पनीलाई फाइदा छ हाम्रो गरिबहरुलाई फाइदा छैन त्यसमा
In the face of relentless criticisms of its treatment of migrant workers, Qatar introduced a series of labour reforms in 2020, chiefly the introduction of the minimum wage and the abolition of the abusive kafala system, under which workers could not change jobs. Human rights groups say the reforms have not gone far enough and not been implemented effectively. Qatar says the reforms will leave a lasting legacy of better workers' rights after the World Cup. But for many in Nepal, that legacy will be measured in lost livelihoods and in some cases, lost lives.
And in response to our report, the Qatari government said Qatar has always acknowledged that work remains to be done, notably to hold unscrupulous employers to account, as is the case with any country. Systemic reform doesn't happen overnight, and shifting the behaviour of every company takes time.